now, so heads up if you worried about being on live camera, I'll turn it off. All right. So screen share, and let's do this. Can you see my screen? Am I doing it right?
Yep, can see it.
All right, cool. I'm very bad at screen sharing on Zoom for some reason. So anyways, welcome to Sunday Night Live. It's January 31st, somehow already, of 2001. And so tonight we were supposed to have Yenny, but unfortunately we had to reschedule to, we will have Yenny on February 21st now. And so just some of the stuff that we're going to go through tonight is just some updates from HFM. We have an upcoming board election, some cool cash advocacy actions you can take, as well as some civic and political engagement updates that Jim wants to share with us. And then we'll just transition into a really casual hang, nothing too crazy tonight. So for those tuning in that aren't yet quite familiar with what Humanity First Movement is, we are the network and organization of a bunch of grassroots volunteers that were on Andrew Yang's 2020 presidential campaign. And when he dropped out and finished, we just weren't ready to stop. So we kind of kept moving forward with a lot of the Humanity First policies that we really supported and believed in, and are now just kind of trying to grow that base and support, do some research, and figure out what we think those policies could really look like, flesh it out, train organizers, build up state chapters, and generally just kind of hang out with each other and keep our community growing. So if you want to join and get involved, you can join on the HFM Slack very easily. There's a quick little orientation video that will help you introduce you to some of the internal workings if that's your jam. And then you could also hook up with your state chapter by going to our website to the chapter section. And if you're a college student, there's a really great growing college network called Forward Growth for America. So you can check out their Twitter or fill out their interest form to figure out how to get into their Slack. And then there's also the Humanity Forward Rapid Response. You can get involved there through their volunteer portal with a lot of like different kind of texting opportunities and things like that. If you're here to find out how to get in touch with the Yang's campaign, mayoral campaign, yangfornewyork.com has a volunteer form. Go to some Humanity Hangs or watch any previous recordings on our YouTube website right there. All the links in this slideshow are clickable. If you just go to bit.ly, so bit.ly/HFM01-31-2001, the date, you'll come to this slideshow. Check us out on all of our social media to get up-to-date updates. And our biggest event coming up is on February 28th is our upcoming board election. We have, I did this in the wrong order. We have 4 interim board positionings open up that we will be electing for on February 28th. That will be a 6-month term. So we have 4 board members that are completing their terms. That's Brendan, Gray, Kevin, and I. And we have 3 that are currently going to be continuing, Angela, Hannah, and Will. It is a 6-month commitment, so the term would start on that day, February 28th, and run through August 29th. The requirements to run is we do want you to be aware of what's happening on the national level. So we are requiring that you attend at least 3 national meetings in the 3 months prior to the election. So these meetings count, any working group meetings count, things like the All-State Summit count if you attend that as a state representative. And the Tuesday Night Income Movement meeting can count for like one of the 3 as well, since we're so tightly knit with them. And then the other requirement is that you must be present at the Sunday Night Live on February 28th, because that is when the election will take place, and give a 30-second statement just to everybody, letting them know who you are and why you're running. Some of our requirements of service is that you be involved, attend at least, it generally averages about 10 meetings a month, plus the preparation for those meetings with a lot of daily check-in and presence on the Slack. So we say to expect a commitment of 10 to 20 hours per week. It'll vary week by week, so there's a range. And to see kind of some of these requirements laid out in more detail and see some advice from previous board members, you can go to those tiny URLs there. And the timeline, the form is opening up, so you can submit your candidacy at that URL right there, HFM Board Candidacy 2021-2. The form will close on February 24th at midnight Pacific time. And then we will announce the candidates the following day in the announcements channel of our Slack. And then the election will happen live on our Sunday Night Live call at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on February 28th. So 4 weeks from now, a month out. So that's just everything about the board candidacy for now. We'll do another rundown on things on the 221 call, because people will still have time to submit at that point. And also, if anybody has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat or reach out on Slack to any of the current board members to find out more. Some of the cash relief advocacy actions happening right now. There's a lot that you can be doing depending on what you're interested in. There's a petition on fundforhumanity.org that you can sign. Quick, easy action. There's a really wonderful calling tool that Income Movement put together, where you basically put in your zip code. It finds the contact information for your representatives, and it'll actually patch you through directly to them. So you don't have to go and Google addresses and phone numbers yourself. And then there's a survey where you can log your results to kind of keep track of where interest is, like who is supportive and who is not, and kind of feel that out and keep that data in a centralized location. You can also write on their action network letters to your representatives and congresspeople. Writing letters to the editor is a really great tool as well. This tool will actually, using your zip code, find the 5 publications closest to you and send your letter to all of them. And letters to the editors are just kind of a place where representatives and their staffers can look to kind of get a pulse for what people want and what the kind of energy out there is. So showing support through the letters to the editor is a really great way to get it out there, and also to educate people about it who might not be familiar or ever heard about it. They'll just be reading their magazine and be like, hey, cool. There's also some really great Twitter swarms that are thanking UBI advocates. So if you see somebody, a congressperson, speaking out in support of cash relief, thank them with their tagging them and that hashtag Team UBI. And it's been showing a lot of support. Some great bling for your tweets at ubiprints.com. If you're nervous about doing any of these things, there's a little community group that does them together every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time, 12 p.m. Pacific time. So you can kind of share your experiences and what you're working on and get some inspiration from one another. February 4th is a really great event coming up that Income Movement's putting together, the $2,000 past due event. There is an in real life component. Some of these cities are the ones that are currently doing that. So if you live near one of those and you're interested in participating in the in real life, they're going to be delivering boxes of invoices of people who signed this petition saying they support $2,000 relief. And these invoices basically say, hey, you owe us this money. And, delivering a petition with theater, basically, to try and grab a little more attention is the point. But there's also ways you can participate on social media by printing out your own invoice and taking a picture of yourself with it, using the hashtag #MakeItMonthly. And there's other things you can do at that website, that bit.ly right there. Make sure you tag and retweet your senators and representatives when you do this, and then on February 5th, there's like a post-action kind of celebration. You can go to that link to register for that. And then they're also launching 100 Mayors in 100 Days campaign. So you can learn more about that at this link. It's basically figuring out how to pressure your mayors and petition them to join Mayors for a Guaranteed Income to show that they publicly support guaranteed income and trying it out and seeing the potential there. The best place to go if all of this is really exciting to you is the Income Movement meeting every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Fantastic meeting, great energy, so much information there. And all of this in a lot more depth than I'm giving to you right now. So that's a great place to go. Now, just some of our upcoming updates. Just the, so political and civic engagement. Jim's going to give us some updates about what he's been up to and what we can look for in that channel. Jim?
Yeah, now that the election season, well, I guess we got a new election season coming, but the 2020 election season's over. There's a lot of different things going on, kind of like a next phase of ways that people can get connected politically, besides the things that, you know, we're usually talking about. So I'm hoping to spend more time with the political and civic engagement channel, getting it more active in discussing ways we could build more political influence and also, you know, do more civic participation. I think that I was really impressed by HF Georgia and the math movement, what they did to help Ossoff and Warnock in Georgia. They really went all out in like a very important race that, you know, changed the Senate. So hopefully we can use that as a case study of how valuable the Yang Gang is to Democratic campaigns. It was great that those candidates were both very supportive of cash relief. So anyway, I think it's a great case study on how in a big race our movement can be such you know, such powerful contributors. One thing that I've been looking into is since then is the DNC elections and leadership situation. Joe Biden picked Jamie Harrison, who ran against Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, as the new DNC chair. He was the South Carolina party chair in the past, and he was like kind of he was in the DNC structure before, so he had some experience with that kind of work. So from what I can tell, he's a good choice. One of the things that I think he does match well with in terms of the humanity first values is that when he ran for DNC chair himself in 2017, he talked about the importance of service and some programs in South Carolina that they did. I think the fact that he's from a red state is good because he understands what it's like to reach out to people that are on the other side. But when he made a remarks at the DNC winter meeting last week, he said he wanted the Democratic Party to be a community organization, not just a political organization. So I think he wants to expand the approach and to not just worry about, you know, campaign to campaign, but to talk about being part of the community more. So I think that that's a good step forward, and it could lead to more days of service and things like that that fit well with some of the humanity first stuff that we do. The next phase, I mean, basically Biden just picked a bunch of people to lead the DNC, which usually it's an open election, or at least when there's not a Democratic president. So it's kind of like a sham election. It's kind of like a Politburo thing, but I'm actually making some proposals to try to open it up and and provide more democracy inside the party, so more positions could be picked by a wider variety of people. There are going to be at-large member appointments. There's like 70 positions that Jane Harrison will add to like the 500-person committee, which you know, each state gets DNC members, and there's at-large members and things like that. So I'm actually have a petition to you know, to just get public support for me being one of those selections. So I actually filed to run for a DNC vice chair position, but it was filled by a mayor and a governor and a and a senator. So last time around it was more wide open, but I think that the new perspectives are definitely going to be needed in the DNC, and so I have a Facebook page, and I already have a Twitter account, but the Facebook page is specific to this campaign that I'm running, to reach out to DNC members and see if I could get support for being appointed. I don't know if anybody's ever done this before, run for an appointed position, but I'm trying to use it as part of, like I said, a campaign called Democrats United, where I actually sent an email. I didn't run for a DNC vice chair position all out. I just sent an email advocating for some reforms to the about 200 DNC members that I had emails for a couple weeks ago. So the reforms include just more opportunities for wide open elections that aren't, where there isn't a finger on the scale. Having a technology committee, there's no DNC technology committee. That's being advocated for by somebody I know in Virginia that is a DNC member. I think there should be a DNC grassroots council, kind of like a Black caucus or a Hispanic caucus, something that is focused on grassroots. Human resource standards and more service programs, more relational organizing, which I've seen that the Yank for New York campaign is going to be focusing on a lot, and ASA focused on a lot. More training, variety of training, a new app which is improved, and more like town halls and briefings and things like that. So those is like kind of like the beginning of a platform that I offered as part of kind of like democratizing the party as a theme. So anyway, so I'll let people know about how that goes. Other than that, I have actually started a podcast on iusaradio.com. It's a new thing. But I think I'll be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and other apps pretty soon. So it's called Democracy Report, and I'm hoping to have like Yang Gang and other folks that are doing great work to kind of help our democracy move forward as guests and just as a topic, talking about some of the things we do. So if you have any ideas for any interactions you have with campaigns or the party, or just want to highlight to the rest of the Democratic Party and other campaigns the work you're doing, maybe I can do it through some of these efforts. Other than that, I've been doing weekly briefings on how to get involved in campaigns, since September, and I'm going to keep doing them as part of a 100 days theme. And Yang Gang for Joe is one of the partners technically. So they've been pretty successful. I'm getting over 100 RCPs each week, and not all of them show up, but I'm hoping for it to be over the 100 days, kind of like a good forum to talk about the legislation being passed. And so, if you want to participate and talk about $2,000 checks or cash relief, I'm going to try to make it more wide open who can participate. It's been pretty interactive, but I'm hoping to make it more interactive. Now, one thing keep in mind is that I think I saw today that on the 23rd of February, the State of the Union type address it's going to be called the Address to Congress when the new president comes in. I think that's going to be the 23rd of February. So you might want to have a State of the Union watch party. That's something you could post on events.democrats.org. I've been using mobilize.org/2020victory, which was the DNC/Joe Biden website. That's what they basically called the campaign, is 2020 victory, all their online stuff. That's been really successful in getting random people to join the events we're having. So if you host an event in the future, feel free to just post it on right now. They're focusing on trying to get everybody to events.democrats.org. So 2020 victory is kind of winding down as a platform. So feel free to use that when posting events, just to get extra publicity. You might get some folks through that platform. And then other than that, I think the Yang campaign for New York mayor and just and the cash relief advocacy, those are good excuses to re-engage with our chapters or our local Yang Gang folks, to maybe engage with local party committees or other grassroots groups. So if you want to talk about how to do that, want any assistance, let me know. But join the Slack channel. You could see the exact political civic engagement name up there at the top of the slide. Feel free to join it and message me, and I'll be posting more on that in the future. And hopefully we can build more political power and kind of do more civic education and things like that, to help the Yang Gang move forward and become more of a political power. I think we're going to make a big strides in New York, so it should be pretty easy.
Awesome. Thank you, Jim. Does anybody have any questions for Jim real quick based on any of that information? I'll open it up real quick. Cool. Thanks. Yeah, so feel free to hop onto our Slack and join that channel, civic and political civic engagement, and get involved in kind of some of this conversation. And then, of course, if you want to get involved with the Yang campaign, they have these, the best way is these Team Yang quick starts that are every Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern time. So you could sign up for one of those events there, and that'll plug you, that's probably the best way to get immediately plugged into all the different volunteer options for the campaign. But if you're in New York as well, plugging in with the New York HFM chapter is a great choice. They're doing some more widespread additional stuff, not just the Yang mayoral campaign. So, like I said, we're supposed to have the lovely Yenny this week, but we had to reschedule. So we will have Yenny on February 21st, and she's running for her, I'm probably going to mispronounce, Worcester City Council. I'm sure one of the people from Massachusetts can correct me on here.
Worcester.
Worcester. That's hard for me. But yeah, so she's running for City Council. So that'll be a great interview to also get some insight into running. We've heard a lot about Senate and representative campaigns, to get some insight into what is running on a much more local level at that City Council, and really building power in these down ballot races. So that's all we have for this week as far as official business goes, but I'm happy to open it up to a hang and some conversation. Do we want to go off the live for a kind of hang part? I'm very curious if anybody is knowledgeable about the stock market on here.
Oh boy.
Yeah, let's kill the live.
All right.
See you all next week, folks.
Yeah. Thanks for hopping on this week, and we'll see. It's not next week. We'll see you on February 21st. Super Bowl's next week, and that's Valentine's Day. So enjoy your events and gather socially distant, responsible, small gatherings. So, all right, I'm going off live. Thanks. How do I?
Cheers.
I got to figure out how to do this. There.